September the 14th, 2021. Guys, you're looking at the latest images as of 3:54 p.m. Central Daylight Time today. You can see where the circulation of Tropical Storm Nicholas is. It is just over Galveston Bay and trying to move east from there. And it's going to be, the projection has changed quite a bit. Normally when you get a storm like this coming into one of the Gulf states, it will trail up through from here, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama to the Carolinas. And that's what they were originally projecting this thing to do. But now it looks like it's going to stall out, and that's going to bring some rainfall amounts pretty high. So we need to pay attention. Right now, though, what you're seeing is a very dry storm. The upper level wind shear is pushing everything east or to the right in these images. And the heavier rains you can see in the brighter tops here. And we're going to look at the projected path in the stall. Again, it's quite a peculiar path. Don't remember seeing a lot of them just stall out and stop without even moving at all. So let's just take a look at that. Now, so far it looks good. You look at the infrared radar just quickly. Most of the storm, or most of the storms, are south of the circulation. Again, just above and slightly to the east of Galveston Bay, right there. But you can see down south, because that's the way the winds are pushing it. Notice the wind shear is pushing east in this section, or the energy of the storm. But here the shear is tearing the tops off the clouds and pushing them south. Now, the way that it's predicted, though, as it moves just a little further into Louisiana and stalls out until Thursday, again, today's Tuesday, it looks they are predicting large amounts of rainfall, especially along the Mississippi coast. Now let's look at the latest stats. You got movement east-northeast at 7 miles an hour, not very fast. The sustained wind is 40 miles an hour. That's why it's still a tropical storm, but it's projected very quickly to become a depression as it stays ashore now. So you're looking at, again, a location 1 p.m. today, and now this X is actually to the other side of Galveston Bay. So it more than likely will become a tropical depression soon. By 7 a.m. in the morning, it's going to be setting very close to the Texas-Louisiana border. 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, it hasn't moved far. Then it sits here, barely moves for another 12 hours. Check that out. And this is as far as the cone is going out, so it looks like a stalled out event. And so, again, when you've got that low pressure spinning and some of this wind shear, if it lets up, and that's what the projected rainfall amounts look like it's going to do, then it's just going to be a pump with one leg in the Gulf of Mexico, which is warm water. So you got South Louisiana that's been drenched. As it comes ashore in Texas, earlier it was a Category 1 hurricane. It got up to 75 miles per hour. There were 400,000 people without power in that area south of the Galveston area where it came ashore. I'm not sure how that's been updated. I don't know how much was severe damage, but a Cat 1, I saw a few videos to where it came in pretty hard in places. So we know there's some power out down there, and I hope that goes good for you guys. We'll find out in some of the later updates what is actually happening. But let's look at the rainfall amounts. Now, this is the projected rainfall, and what we're looking at, this starts a valid 1 p.m. today and goes to 7 p.m. Friday, so the next 3 days, a little over 3 days. Notice right here along the Gulfport, Mississippi area, that's the red area, and that's 10 to 15 inches. These orange areas are 6 to 10 inches, and just on probably right here in the Perdido, Pensacola area, right there, another 10 to 15 inch red spot. And that, to me, indicates the stalling effect of the storm. It's already starting to pile up, get thicker along the coast out in front of the rotation, which is back over near Houston. So that's what they're projecting, again, from between now and Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time. That will be this Friday, the September the 17th. So, again, the stalling effect looks like this is going to be the effect, guys. And South Louisiana is trying to dig out. Other places are, but no one really got as devastated from Ida as South Louisiana. So, guys, we hope that we don't see this much rain, because the one thing that's positive about the satellite images is that it was pushing most of the rain south, but that could change, and that's why they are predicting these rainfall amounts. The yellow is 4 to 6 inches, which is nothing to play with. You got to keep an eye on that. And there's going to be flash floods, watches and warnings out throughout the area. Now, this is also for the next 3 days, and it's called the greatest flash flood risk. And the highest right here is southwest of Lake Charles, Louisiana, going back over across the Sabine River into Texas, back towards Houston. And it's 50% if it's in that purple area here. Outside, that's 20% chance, and that's 10 in the yellow and 5 in the green. So here, Lake Charles, in this area, keep an eye on that. That's your highest potential over the next 3 days of flash flooding. But when you start seeing the 10 and 15 inches over into Mississippi and to Florida Panhandle, then you guys pay attention to that. Now, also, this is going out 5 days, so you know that the system's not going to move very far at all. In the purple area, that's the tropical force wind speed probabilities, and this goes through now till Sunday, September 19th at 1 p.m. But again, right here is your highest percentage, 90% chance. It goes down to 80%, 70, 50, 60 as you go outside that circle. And this purple area encompasses where the storm is now, and before it dies out as it's trying to move east. Again, it's going to move over the Sabine River into Louisiana and offshore. Notice that, guys. I'm sure there's been small craft advisories and shutdowns and from oil platforms and things like that that's close to the coast. But we'll also take a quick look at the next thing we got to pay attention to for our friends on the East Coast, and that's that storm that's forming near Bermuda. Now, let's look at the entire Atlantic for a moment. Just want to also point out that the National Hurricane Center does have marine warnings across the Atlantic out now because of these two storms. You can see Nicholas setting over the Galveston, Houston area now. Now, something about this, if you notice at the very bottom, it says Nicholas is moving slowly northeastward across southern portions of the Houston metropolitan area. Life-threatening flash floods expected across portions of the deep south during the next couple of days. Life-threatening. So, guys, in the areas I was showing you with the rainfall is Louisiana, South Mississippi, parts of Texas, especially in the impacted areas where people may not have power still from Hurricane Ida. Check on them. Make sure they're aware of this stall. Make sure that, and most of them are that have electricity or not, but a lot of them are probably really busy trying to restore their life, and many don't have electricity. So just anybody you know in these areas, make sure they're aware of it. Call and check on them. But this is a 2-day forecast. Again, Nicholas is here, 40 mile per hour, 7 miles per hour forward speed. So you've got that storm setting there, and it's a large area, even though the center circulation is still there. And this storm that's just east of the Bahamas, this is, again, 2-day forecast, and it's usually been in a 2-day period at about a 20% chance, and you go up to 50, 60 on the 5-day outlook. So now they changed the 2-day outlook up to a 40% chance of formation. That's telling us that they're expecting it to get stronger. This was 2 p.m. today. Trough of low pressure located a couple of 100 miles northeast of the southeastern Bahamas is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions are forecast to be conducive for gradual development during the next few days, and a tropical depression could form while the system moves northwestward to northward across the western Atlantic. Chance of 2-day or 48-hour chance, 40%. Formation chance through 5 days is 60%. Notice that at the bottom. The system here, 70% chance of development. Showers and thunderstorms associated with a low-pressure area located a few hundred miles southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands continue to show signs of organization. Environmental conditions are expected to remain conducive for development, and a tropical depression is likely to form during the next couple of days while the system moves generally westward at about 5 miles an hour across the eastern tropical Atlantic Ocean. Now, going to the 5-day forecast, it will give you some of these projected cone sections. And the cone is not where the storm will be, but projected area of where the center will be. So it could be anywhere inside this orange section here. Same with the storm that's just come off the African coast. And this still has this positive curve for our friends along the, especially North Carolina area, if it maintains its path. And if the high pressure continues to yield back north into the Atlantic, that will allow the storm to turn. And guys, you may get some high winds and waves, rip currents along the shore, but it's still too early to trust this cone 100% because we know they will change. But right now it looks good. You're still, again, you can see you could get some heavy weather along there depending on the strength of the storm. Now, let's take a look at the 5 p.m. update on the storm that's just came off the African coast. CMC is not tracking it out very far. The Navy is bringing it in to about right here. And you see some models start to turn north before it gets into the Windward and Leeward Islands. That's usually a good sign for the east coast of the U.S. A couple of models keep it going straight, but it's still far enough out where we really don't know where it's going to go yet. But this is kind of where they're pointing it at, and I like that northern curve, and I'm sure you guys along the East Coast do too. Now, this is the wide Atlantic view. You can see to your left Nicholas and the Gulf itself are just inshore, and this is the system right here. There's 40% chance of development in 48 hours, and 60% chance over 5 days. And here, this is the storm that's come off of Africa. Guys, it may be a really good thing that this thing's going to turn north earlier. Keep your fingers crossed because it's a very large area, and we are still in the peak section of hurricane season. Let's take a closer look at the storm in the center. Now, you can see it's still basically disorganized, except that it's all concentrated in this one area we've been watching, and you see that it's trying to circle the wagons on that center of that low pressure. But again, it's possible that it could skirt the offshore areas of North Carolina, Hatteras through there. But if the cones stay where it's at now, the probability is it will be in the center of that cone. We're going to watch it though, guys. You can see the energy at the surface below these upper level clouds, and they're saying it will be becoming more conducive from a 40% chance to a 60% chance. So we're going to watch this, guys. I do want to take a look at the National Weather Service just for a moment and see what they're saying about the potential rainfall that we're going to see along the, as they're saying, life-threatening flooding could occur along the deep south. And this is what they're saying. You can see by the color-coded map, in your dark green, that's a flash flood watch. In your brighter green, it's flood warnings. See this? You've got tropical storm warning still offshore south of the Louisiana and Texas border. You have gale warnings through here, small craft advisories. You have severe thunderstorm warnings and special marine warnings out. And this will change over the next few days as the storm stalls out just to our west over our neighbors in Louisiana. So, guys, I guess that's mainly what I wanted to talk about was this potential for life-threatening flash flooding because of the stalling of the storm. Again, I ask you to contact your friends in this area. Make sure they are aware of what the Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service is saying about this amount of rainfall. It's a heads up, guys. Be safe.